Statesmen Nation. This is Wade Steinluggy, Sports Information Director here at William Penn, and this is the Coaches Show, the first one of 2025. We are out at the wonderful trio here. We'll have an awesome three guests joining me up here on in the comfy chairs here, beginning with head men's basketball coach John Henry. Coach Henry, thanks for joining me for the first one here in 2025.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to get right into it here. Coach, you're coming off a win, got a little schneid there for a while, but we broke it, broke the losing streak. So let's talk about that win over Mount Mercy.
Very happy to win. I have a saying around here, for the men's basketball, get it done by 1 or 100. We weren't very sharp. We didn't particularly play all that well, but we came out with the win, and that's ultimately all that matters. Showed a little resiliency down the stretch. We lost all three of our post players at one time, and pulled together a unit that got it done. And that trip home was a lot happier because we came home with a W.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, we're halfway through the year now, roughly about halfway through the year. Obviously, there's been a lot of ups. There's been some downs as well included there. But let's talk about where the team is now.
Well, we're 9-7. 6-6 in the league, and currently tied for, I believe, 4th, but it's with like 5 other teams, so you could say you're 4th or you're 9th. We prefer to say we're 4th. But I like where we're headed. I don't necessarily like where we're at, because I thought, like all coaches, I wish we were further along. But I do think we have a good group that can do some things down the stretch. I don't know if mathematically we can win the regular season conference championship because Baker is undefeated, but we can definitely make some noise, and there's a lot left. There's a lot of games left to play. We play, Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, all at home, and we're in the beginning of a 6 games in 13 days. So our season is far from over, as we just one game over the halfway mark for us. It's going to be played out, though, in a short amount of time. Half our season is really within like 7 weeks. You spend like 14 weeks leading up to the final 7, and then everything just happens all at once. So, but I like where we're at. I'd like to get a little more healthy, a little less sick, and be, pick a few things up a little sharper and a little quicker. But all in all, I'm pleased, and I like where we're headed to.
All right, let's talk about some of the things that you're working on to improve as a team. I mean, you guys, like you said, you had some losses lately, and some things that you're like, all right, if we do this and this and this, we can have a good next few weeks.
Well, you said this and this and this, and I would add this and 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 this more. But like I said, it's not for lack of all-out effort, but there's some things that we need to start picking up a little easier. Game situations, time and score, defensive assignments, what we're in, what we're trying to execute. Plain and simple, the ball needs to go in the basket more for us and less for them. I know that sounds stupid, but at the end of the day, it is about the ball going in more for us and less for them. We missed 16 free throws last night against Graceland. We missed 18. I've never heard of such a thing. To have 2 games in one season where you missed 16 and 18 free throws. And quite honestly, we won last night. We quite frankly could have won at, versus Graceland at home with that type of shooting. Our three-point shooting, just our overall shooting all year, offense has been a challenge. Around here we're used to 100-point games with hot dogs and all that type of stuff. And it hasn't been that way. Offensively, we've been really challenged. So we've had to focus a lot on our defense and changing the tempo a little bit. I'm a big believer in coaches need to change for their personnel. This is not the run and gun Duncan show that it was for many years. We've had to change our philosophy for what we have. And hopefully, we'll get back to that one day. But for this particular group, I made the decision, and my staff made the decision to play a different way. Not quite as exciting, but the grinding is what we are about this year.
All right, I'm totally changing gears here. I did preface this before we got on air here, but we were talking about leadership and how things have changed throughout the years. You've been here a couple years. I've been here a couple years. You've been a couple years more than me. but you are one of the elder statesmen on the coaching staff. Talk about how you've developed into a leader and someone that we have a very young coaching staff. A lot of young men and young women who are only in it, have been in it for a few years. What do they come to you with certain questions?
That's a tough question. I woke up one day and became the older statesman. It feels like just yesterday I was 25 and coaching my first game here, and I remember it like it was yesterday. And like anybody who's getting into this profession, and I would hope, but you got to ask a lot of questions, like you said, and I hope that the young coaches in our department know that if they do come to me, I'll answer any questions they have. And I talk to Coach Bedford a lot. Obviously, my own staff of young characters and other coaches within the department. If they ever need anything or want to talk to me about anything at all, I'm quick to tell a story about what it was like 20 years ago. And if you think I'm full of them and full of it, you should talk to Coach Laird. And I leaned on him, and it's strange for me sometimes to think about me being the older guy, but it came on very quickly. And talk about younger coaches. I've got a young kid on my staff named Wyatt. I don't know how to pronounce his last name very well, but you might know him. He's in charge of free throws, I might add.
Yeah, and he takes it to heart every time when you guys don't shoot him well. And I said, "Well, are you teaching him?" And he's like, "No, I'm just telling."
He does a really good job, and it's a good time having him around. I always tell our players, I said, when he first started working with us, I said, you better be nice to him because someday you're going to brag about knowing him. When he's some famous coach of the Utah Jazz, if your wife has her way, my players will be happy to say that they know him. And that's one thing that I pride myself in our program is that we always have, whether it be coaches' kids or younger people or younger coaches or, I don't want to say, we're open to anybody, but we really are. I'll have just about anybody around that wants to help and be a part of it. And that's what it's all about for me. I mean, I miss the days when Cole and Ellie were running around, and Wyatt kind of helps me out with some of that, and the Sandquist kids, and Xavier Foster and all those kids from way back, and Wyatt just kind of brings some of that back, and hopefully there's another one someday, running around, and that's what we're all about, and that's what I like. So it's cool. I don't know if I answered your question very well.
I don't know if you did either, but it was
kind of ran off on that one, but.
We don't have to just talk basketball all the time.
I don't want to get specific on what young coaches come to me about because it's different for everybody. But, I'm open for anybody and everything. And what I try to do also is ask them questions because with technology and the changes of the world and AAU and recruiting and portals and all that, a lot of the younger coaches know more than I do. And I can learn from them. So, it's a two-way street in that regard. And if you're not learning from them and them from you, then you're not getting better. I think that's the best way I can answer that.
All right, finally, another non-basketball question. It's the start of the new year, so any New Year's resolutions you had and any New Year's resolutions you've already broken?
Being
like 16 days
trick
in?
question with her sitting here. We got the athletic director creeping on me right here. What's my New Year's resolution? I've got a couple. I want to drop 10 pounds, and doesn't anybody? That's 50% of Americans' New Year's resolution is really to lose weight. I'm no different. I want to curse less. I go, believe it or not, I go to church 52 weekends a year. I try to, quote unquote, religiously never miss. And one of the things I talk to God about every Saturday night or Sunday is to help me curse less. Doesn't always work, but I keep trying, and he keeps helping me. Maybe I'm doing less, but that's my resolutions. Yes.
All right. Once again, Coach John Henry, the men's basketball team is at home this weekend. Park at 4 o'clock. The women's open up the afternoon at 2 o'clock. Yeah, a whole bunch of games, like Coach Henry said, at Penn Gymnasium over the next couple weeks. So a lot of season left. We're excited to see him at home a bunch, and best of luck, Coach.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having him.
All right. When we come back on the Coaches Show, we will have head men's wrestling coach Drew Sams. Welcome back to the trio and the coaches show. We are now here with Drew Sams, the head men's wrestling coach here at William Penn. Coach Sams, in your first year, and you just had quite an experience just a couple days ago. Opportunity to go back to the alma mater at Graceland and wrestle against the Yellow Jackets as the visitor. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, pretty surreal moment. Obviously, it's been the last 7 years.
There we go. Okay, how you go?
Pretty surreal moment. Been there the last 7 years prior to this year, so it's a place that I called home for a long time, and obviously a lot of people there that I still know. Obviously, still very close with the coaching staff there. Outside of that, it still was a business trip. We still had a goal going down there. It wasn't. Obviously the homecoming that I wanted to have. Very, very good program. They were 24th, now 21st in the country. So, a really talented program that Coach Mullins has built, and just awesome to be able to go and compete in that gym. Definitely different from the visitor side. They do a lot of things. They get loud in there, and it's definitely kind of taxing on the visiting team, and to get to experience that from the opposite side is definitely a different experience. But definitely even after the duel, kind of had my wrestlers sit and listen to them have their little locker room party that they've always done, and this is where we can be and where we can get to. That's a program that's been in a place that our program is currently in, and they built it kind of from the ground up, and that's what we're looking to do.
All right, let's talk about it. Midway through your first year, where do you feel like the team's at, kind of right now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we haven't been able to put it together on the dual side of things. I think we're struggling with a little bit of depth. We can't quite put it together up and down a lineup for our dual meets, but no, I think we're competing really well. I thought we went into Graceland and had a really tough duel with that team, and had some really good matches against some nationally ranked guys. Before that, we had a really, really close one with Benedictine. The first one coming off break. Really hurts to lose that one, especially the way that we did. But I just preach to the guys that we're not wrestling for the results in January. We're wrestling for the results at the conference and national tournament when it really matters in February and March. So really just continuing to make sure that they stay on the right path. Make sure that their minds are still set on what our goals are, and our goals aren't to walk into Lamoni and beat Graceland in a duel. Would it be nice? Yeah, but we have bigger goals than dual meet wins. So we've got a lot of talented wrestlers, and really just trying to make sure that we're peaking at the right time right now, and competing really, really hard heading into February and March.
A lot of trust the process, right,
Yep.
and all that stuff. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the transition. You were hired, during the late spring, summer, and first year, coming from the arrival in the conference and everything. How's the transition gone, and how have the seniors hopefully helped along with that transition and helped everybody kind of gel and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I think the transition's actually been pretty good. I was able to come in at a time when I was kind of already stepped away from the Graceland program for a little bit, and was able to kind of step into this program and have a summer to kind of lead into the season. But the senior class has been awesome. They're littered up and down my lineup, so obviously they're making an impact within our team and our lineup. But they've been great, making sure that they're continuing to mentor these young guys, but also they know what to expect. They know what college wrestling's like, and they can make sure that these young guys are putting in the work that's needed to compete at a high level in college, and at the same time working for their own goals, and they got one last shot to do it. So really they're trying to take in the moment, but at the same time continue to build and really reach the goals that they have.
All right, well, the Mini Nationals is coming up next weekend. You guys go down to Marshall, Missouri for the Missouri Valley Tournament. I know that's, like I said, basically called Mini Nationals, where you got 40, 60 teams. I don't know, it's a crazy amount of teams that are down there. Great opportunity to see teams that you normally wouldn't, and just kind of figure out where you stack up against everybody in the NAIA. So what are you looking to get out of next weekend's tournament?
Yeah, I mean, what's really nice is the Hart teams are not going to have to beat each other up this weekend, or next weekend. That's something that, the Hart and GPAC schools do a lot of, since, there's a lot of other schools that we don't see throughout the year. And, the Missouri Valley Invites are a really good opportunity for us to, go and compete against competition from, Georgia, Florida, way out on, the East Coast. Some of those schools that we just don't see all that often. And, I'm really looking for our guys to, continue to go out and compete hard. We're kind of building it into our the way that we're practicing and training to have like little bit of a mini peak. I want our guys competing at a high level for this tournament. We're going to make sure we feel good heading into it. And, really, I'd say there's a reason that we're ranked, our guys that are ranked as low as they are, and that's because, we've only gotten to wrestle the, 2 or 3 other ranked guys in the Hart at our weight classes, and, I feel like we've wrestled them very tough. And I think, this tournament always has, up to 10 to 15 ranked wrestlers in almost each bracket. So, like you said, a mini national tournament, really tough. We're really just looking to go in and compete well, have, a good squad heading into, Saturday, with it being a 2-day tournament, and, really just trying to, find more ways to get better and continue to learn, and, like I said, see other competition that, we don't get to see very often.
All right, a non-wrestling question here to finish it off here. First year being a coach and a dad. So what has that been like, the experience, juggling all of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's an experience. It's, you have a team, which is, I preach family in our program, and, you're trying to build and connect with, a new family on the wrestling and, program side of things. And then you're also, I'm also trying to build, my family on the personal side of things. And, I think it's really nice to be able to have a room full of 20 guys who, MJ gets to be around. They love being around him, and I think it really helps. My wife brings him into practice all the time, and we have the guys over to the house, and they're really good. And I just he's at a point in his life right now that he's growing every day, so we really get to see a new side of him every day, whether it's crawling, pulling himself up, grabbing things he shouldn't be. So he scares us more than ever right now, but at the same time it's really awesome to see him grow. And obviously first year as a coach, trying to build relationships with our guys as well, and I think it's a really good buffer to be able to introduce them to my new family, and have our families kind of grow together. So it's really awesome.
Very cool. All right. Once again, Drew Sams, head men's wrestling coach here at William Penn. Look forward to a few more tournaments here, including that Missouri Valley Invite next weekend. So best of luck down the pipe. We still have, I think, one more home duel, Februuary 4th, against William Woods, and then we're hosting the Hart Championship in the middle of February as well. So opportunities to catch the Statesmen on the mat as well. So once again, Drew Sams, thanks so much, Coach. Appreciate it. When we come back, we will have Jake Cadle of the women's wrestling program. You're watching the Coach Show here at the Trio.
Thanks, Wade.
All right, welcome back to the Trio, and we are now here with head women's wrestling coach Jake Cadle. Coach, all right, year number 2. We're going to get into that in a second, but let's recap the national duels. That's the most recent activity you guys had. Opportunity to see some teams that you normally wouldn't, and throw them out there in the dual meet competition. So let's just recap it: the goods and bads and the uglies.
Yeah, we had a little bit of both. I mean, I'd say the goods, we had some girls step up and get some big wins, so that really helped us probably seeding and ranking-wise in the future. We got to see some teams that we normally wouldn't see probably, so that's exciting too. Kind of the 2 big things we talked about afterwards yesterday was just more effort and positive attitude. So just a little bit more effort in some of those matches where you're working harder to not maybe get pinned, or just having a little bit more effort in your matches. So we talked about that a little bit, and then just having a positive attitude. I mean, we saw a lot of really good girls, so you got to kind of have a good attitude when you're going out there and expect to compete. But other than that, I mean, super proud of a lot of really good individuals that stepped up. Like Phoebe is the biggest one that comes to mind. Finally got her in the lineup, and she did a really, really good job. I mean, she lost, I don't know, maybe 2 out of the 4 matches, but one of the matches was like 16-18, which is, you don't see that very often. So that was a super exciting match to watch. We had Devin had a really big win. She was getting beat. Penn's the girl. We had a couple girls coming back from sickness, and they battled through that. We had a couple girls for first times in the lineup, and then so yeah, there's a lot of really good things to take away from it. So.
All right, let's do a little state of the program situation here. We're halfway through the year, so where's the team at?
We're still working on figuring that out. So this weekend was a good test of that, and just kind of getting some people in the lineup to get them some opportunities to compete. And then we have some really good girls coming in second semester, so that'll be really exciting to see how that shapes up at the end of the year. Still not sure what that's going to look like, but usually things work out at the end of the year. So optimistic we'll figure that out when the time comes. But we still got some time to put forth our best wrestling, and so yeah, it's exciting.
All right, well, I wasn't going to ask this until next time, or next question, but it segued right into where you're talking about, wanting to wrestle your best at postseason. So you've shown a knack the last couple of years, Iowa Wesleyan, and now last year, your first year here at William Penn, of getting your teams really ready for the postseason, really peaking at the right time. Any trade secrets you're willing to divulge of how that's happening, or is it a little bit of luck too, but I don't feel like it's just luck?
Good assistant coaches. He does all the work for me, so. Cash Wilkie, he can take the credit. We got good administrative support too. So those are two keys for recipe.
He's not giving
up
anything. He's leaving that up in his sleeve. All right, you're taking a weekend off. It's mid-season, still a lot of wrestling to be done. But how beneficial is this going to be to kind of get, some of those sore muscles worked out, and maybe get some people healthy, both injury as well as illness. But how are you looking at this weekend?
We'll use this weekend to kind of recover and focus on academics too. Just getting everybody back into the swing of things, from getting back into classes. We got some girls, like I said, coming in second semester that are getting back into the rhythm of things. So academic schedules. We went a little bit lighter this week on the practice. Just letting them get adjusted to classes and get off on the right foot for that. And then we'll pick up practices a little bit probably next week, Monday. And then we got a duel on Wednesday, and then a big tournament that following weekend at Indiana Tech. So that'll be a real big test for us. There's a lot of really good teams there, so really excited for that. But hopefully we'll have our best girls healthy and all ready to roll for that tournament and just kind of see what happens. So that'll probably be the next biggest test for us is Indiana Tech Open.
All right. You talked about some of these girls that are coming in here at semester. You've recruited to recruit during the year. Okay, it hasn't just been all right. Let's just roll with what we had, in August when everybody shows up. You continue to make the team better, adding several big pieces. But you've also this won't affect us till next year, but had a huge signing out of Tennessee.
Yep.
Just talk about what you think has put William Penn over the top for some of these young ladies to make the decision to come and be a Statesman.
I would say it all comes down to relationships, probably. Just putting forth the effort in recruiting with the family, the coach, the athlete. It all plays a big part. And we have really good facilities, obviously, and support here, so that's very eye-opening for a lot of individuals. And just I think we have a lot of things with connections and things like that we can offer here that you can't find a lot of other places, so that's big. And then obviously we're in good location for wrestling too in the state of Iowa, and so I think all those play a part. But I think people are kind of starting to see what we're about and getting out there a little bit, and so that's exciting too. So it'll just come with time. And but yeah, I mean, obviously we want to continue to get the best class we can, and that also happens throughout the year. But sometimes you're recruiting people earlier and it just doesn't happen at the right time, or earlier versus later. So just trying to get those individuals here and get them here is the big thing. It doesn't matter when. If we get them here, then that's the important part. So
I feel like it's a big deal to get them on campus and do that final pitch there.
Yeah, for sure. It's not always necessary. Like probably Adugo, one of the most accomplished girls we've had, never took a campus visit or anything for us. But so she's one that kind of comes to mind for that. But Yeah, it's ideal because I think that's kind of the final cherry on top for us is to seal or like kind of seal the deal or really sell it is obviously the facilities, the community here, and again the support we have and things like that. It's very important. So once they kind of see that and the environment that we have here is pretty unique. So hopefully that usually is a good point for that for getting them to commit.
All right, final question. Expectations for the final push. You kind of alluded to it a little bit already, but what are you guys hoping to accomplish this year?
The goal is to finish as high as we can. Hopefully better than last year, but I think we have a team that can, if we get everybody where they're supposed to be at the end of the year, then I think we have the ability to win. But we got to get there first. So and just whatever happens, happens. But just bringing in a good class for next year will help that for next year as well to really make a push for it if it doesn't happen this year. But if the longer you wait, sometimes things don't always work out, or whatnot. So it's try to get it done sooner rather than later. But
yeah, no better time than the present, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Once again, Jake Cadle, head women's wrestling coach here at William Penn. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Best of luck the rest of the season. We do have one more duel February 4th against William Woods, and then they'll be hosting the Hart Championship on May. Not that long.
March
1st. So opportunities to catch the Statesmen on the mat coming down the pipe as well. So thanks again, Coach. Best of luck. That'll do it for us here at the Trio and the Coaches Show. Like I said, there's some plenty of opportunities to catch the Statesmen. Basketball this weekend. We've got, I think volleyball's coming down in a few weeks. So just a whole lot of things going to be on the tap here in Oskaloosa, so definitely check them out. But for us here at the Trio, definitely check out this place as well. It is awesome, great addition to the Oskaloosa community, and we'll catch you in a couple weeks. Thanks.